Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. We will be playing a scenario that's entitled Stumped. It was written by Josh Harwood, who is also our game master. This will be episode 1. So without any further delay, let's begin our journey into the darkness. Josh?
Thanks, Tom. So it is 11:30 p.m. on the 2nd of July 2018, and in Boston, in England, and just in the marketplace, in the center of town, here in their car is Police Sergeant William Uxbridge and Police Constable Michael Briley. You guys do the night shifts 3 times a week in the town center, and usually it's really quiet, nothing happens, so you usually just go to KFC, get some chicken and stuff like that, and just relax. And all the time you always see the Reverend who's in charge of the church, Walter Hartman. He comes and chats to you. He even brings you a coffee. He's a very friendly man. Everyone knows him. He's been there for 10 years. He's like the longest serving Reverend in recent history. So you guys are there. It's 11:30, and again, as I said, he always comes around this time, and dead on cue, he taps on the window and hands you guys coffee.
Thank you, Reverend. Thank you. How are you doing this evening?
Yes, I'm fine, gentlemen. It's raining. Looks like it's gonna be a stormy night.
Yeah.
Well,
appreciate the coffee then. That'll keep us. That'll keep the cab a little warmer.
Yes, I hope you guys don't get too much trouble tonight.
It's usually quieter when it's raining.
Anyway, gentlemen, I have to go and get some files from the officers in the church. I will see you tomorrow night at the usual time. You know.
Well, thank you, Reverend. Keep dry.
Okay, you too. And he wanders off in the not in the same direction, because usually he goes home and that would be going to the right, whereas he's gone to the left into where the statue is, just outside the church. He's gone that way. But as he said, he's going to the offices, and the offices are located just behind the church in one of the vicarages, because one of the vicarages was kind of half transformed into like a home for one of the curates, and then into offices as well, so that some of the clergy would work out of them and some of the business people. So yeah, he's gone that way. And yeah, so you two are just in the car?
Yeah, I'll enjoy the couple sips of the coffee. And
how does the weather look?
It's starting, it seems like every minute more rain is just coming down. It's just getting heavier and heavier by the minute. But yeah, you guys have probably been partners for a year, maybe.
Okay.
Dependent on you guys, really. But Michael Braley's relatively new to the police force compared to you, Uxbridge.
I'm 24. How old are you?
I am the incredible age of... Oh, I'm 45. Yes. Well, let's do a gentle patrol around the periphery, and I think it looks like it's pretty quiet out there.
Yeah, it's pretty dead. There's no one around. You see the odd person walking. You might see the odd factory worker who's just been dropped off and walking through the marketplace, but nothing out of ordinary. You guys, your usual round, you just go around the entire marketplace and then just back to your car.
Yeah, so we'll do, before it starts really coming down, we'll do one last round, I guess.
Yeah.
That we have nice coffees to keep us warm.
Get it out of the way before it picks up.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys do your rounds. You get the odd person walk past you and just like, evening, officers.
Evening.
And that just repeats a few times, like people walk past you. And as you get about halfway around your round, that's when the rain just starts pouring. And there's even like a crash of thunder and lightning just in the distance. But you know it's going to be a stormy night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this does look like it's going to be a wet one.
I say double time, Uxbridge.
Yep, I'm with you. Let's get back to the car. Yeah, you're right. It does look pretty. Yeah, no one else is really out in this right now.
You guys are going back to your car. Can you both do me spot hiddens?
Certainly. Wow, 19. Good kickoff roll. I hope that's successful.
It's good for me. I got a 71, so got rain in my eye.
Okay. So yeah, really, as you said, you got rain in your eye. You just get straight in the car. Uxbridge, you have like a minute of, well, a second of stopping, and you notice that the inside church lights are on.
Okay.
Only on like they're not like bright, so they're on like a low setting, but there is a light on.
Is it unusual for the lights to be on this late? It is 11:30 at night.
Yeah, the latest you've known someone to be in the church is like 10 p.m. Unless it's like a midnight mass, but there's no midnight mass for a month or so.
Oh, that's odd. Constable Brearley, I mean, that's interesting.
Yeah, we should keep an eye. I'm guessing that Hartman didn't find the file he was looking for in the vicarage and went inside. But if it's not off in 10 minutes, maybe we should knock on a couple doors.
I like your thinking.
If somebody, went in with intent, I assume they'd be using flashlights and not lighting the place up general.
Okay. So going by your interaction with Hartman, the patrol, you took like a nice pace, and then waiting 10 minutes. As 10 minutes strike, it's about 5 past midnight. And as the thunder like hits, you hear a scream coming from the water side.
Oh, I did turn my full attention there.
Male or female?
Female.
All right.
Did you hear that, Constable?
Yeah, it sounded like a scream. Unless somebody's just very afraid of lightning, I think we need to take a look.
Yeah, I think you're right. Let's do this. All right.
Okay. You guys would have like raincoats and
raincoats.
So yeah, you guys start to walk in the direction, and yeah, you can see your police station just across the way because you're literally across the river, and yeah, you walk through the graveyard of the outside the front part of the church, and you get to the waterfront, and where you think it came from, because it was lightning. The scream came just after it hit, so you're not entirely sure, but there doesn't seem to be anyone there in that direction, even outside that waterfront door that leads into the church. It's like the doors to the church are like massive doors. But yeah, there doesn't seem to be anyone there. And yeah.
Can we go around the periphery and look around? Or
yeah.
Vicinity?
Are you going to both split up and like loop around and meet back there, or are you going?
Yeah, we should probably do that.
Yeah, time's of the essence. If somebody's injured, or
I'll take the north route. You take the south.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Right.
So yeah,
stay in communication.
So yeah, you both start going around. You will kind of like cross paths, but you might just do a loop just to see if someone,
Yeah.
one of you didn't see when you went by. And yeah, you kind of meet, and as you meet back near that waterfront door, just you're a little bit away from it, all of a sudden, just splat. Hartman's body is lying right there.
My God.
When you say splat, do you mean it fell right in front of us?
Right in front of you, right from the waterfront door, from up.
Oh, so I quickly take a step back and look up.
And the assumption is it's Hartman because he got what he was wearing when you guys saw him.
Do we see any motion, anything disturbed up directly from above?
You could do me a spot hidden, Oxford.
All right, on it.
And Briley, if you are also looking.
89. Yeah, I looked up and the rain's just probably pouring down in my face.
Yeah, the nearest balcony is 200 feet up, so it's hard with the rain.
I'm a good spotter. 53 is a regular success.
Okay. Yeah, you just briefly, you see you're unsure because the rain is in, but you see a silhouette of maybe a hooded figure. You're unsure.
Christ.
Just up, but as I said, it's quite high up, and the rain is getting into your face.
Right. I'm going to try to get the flashlight right on the figure and tell it to say where it is.
No,
it's already dashes off.
Yeah, just gone.
All right, we need to radio in, of course,
yeah.
and have a look at, hopefully, or I'm afraid, poor Hartman.
Yeah. Police Sergeant William Uxbridge reporting in. Fatality at the cathedral. There's a fatality at the cathedral. Over.
We don't know he's dead. Do we know he's dead? Is he all like a squash?
The face is cave, as he's impacted, the face kind of gets pushed in.
Yeah.
So you're pretty sure. You're not medical professionals, but you have basic knowledge enough to assume.
Did the figure land on its back?
Front straight.
Okay, so we're just looking at the back of it. We're looking at a prone splat, and the head isn't round anymore. It's a hemisphere.
It's hundreds of not just 20 feet where it could be survived, but the fall would be from.
Yeah, the only reasonable place where he would have fallen from is probably at that ledge where the public can go up to, which is just under 200 feet up.
Geez, so. Yeah, that's a fatal fall.
Yeah.
We got that.
And you guys do know that this is a prime suicide spot.
Oh, geez.
It didn't seem upset. Is there? I'm going to do a very cursory inspection of the body. If the hands are open and lying palm up, I'll see there's nothing in the hands. I'll see if there's any obvious wound on the back, a bullet hole or a knife wound or anything that I can see with a flashlight in the rain on dark clothing.
Yeah, as the rain is coming down, on the back of the coat, you do see dust marks, but he must have gone up the stairs, and you guys know it's quite dusty on there. It's hard to maintain the staircase going up because it's old architecture.
So how many stairways up are there?
There are two entrances up to the tower, and they're kind of opposite. They're kind of one's here, one's there, and then the tower bits.
Right.
There.
So Uxbridge, I'm pretty sure I saw a figure, maybe wearing a rain hood or something, and it dashed off that way. But we should cover both the exits, right?
Oh, I agree. How soon can we expect any maybe an inspector dispatch?
Yep. You get a reply in there, just we're working on it, because the Reverend was loved by a lot of people, so they will get there as quickly as they can and sort it out. The only thing that the staff sergeant tells you is just to secure the cordon off the area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So we'll all right. So I'll I'll cover the body and the front area. I can kind of do that simultaneously. If you could go do the back, or
I'm wondering if I should like go to one stairwell and shine a light at the other one while you go and get the car. No, okay.
To do the stairwell, you'd have to be inside the church. So there's both stairwells are in. The only way into the tower, there are those two stairwells, but they're inside the church.
All right, and there are many exits from the church.
There are 7 exits.
Once the hooded figure gets down the stairs, which might already have happened. I mean, are we talking like how broad is the distance between the 2 stairwells? So somebody,
like 10-20 feet maybe, but it's not like a massive.
They could be inside the church already while we look at the body and try to figure out. You know,
so we should go quick. I think if we have one of us on each side of the church, we should be able to see the majority, if not all, the exits. Correct?
Yeah, you'd be able to see all the. If you literally all you'd have to do is just walk a little bit further across, so you're covering the whole width of the church. You'd be able to see if someone was coming out of all the exits.
All right.
And there are so few figures out.
Yeah,
there's so anybody's going to wander up and find the body and tamper with it. We're really looking to see who else was up there.
Yeah, you guys have definitely. If you see someone walking this way, because people do walk past here because it's quicker to get to certain places to just walk.
So one of us should fast double time to the other side, and the other one of us should stay roughly with the body, but still scanning that side of the church.
Okay. So yeah, you will do that, and as you do that, another thunder strike hits, and we go to the police station. And inside the police station, in one of the offices, is DCI Declan Harness, and he has he will walk out of his office, and DS Frank Gastrel, you will see him walk out of his office as he walks past you, looks at you, and says, DS Gastrel, would you follow me, please?
Of course, sir.
Yes, sir. Is D.I. Taylor in her office?
I believe so.
Okay. And yeah, he knocks on your door, on your office door.
Yes, sir.
Hi. Both of you in quickly. Well, Gastrel in quickly. So instead of calling you to my office, I thought I'll come directly here. We need to be urgent. So we just got a call in from Sergeant Uxbridge and Constable Braley that there has been a death, and that death is Walter Hartman, the Reverend.
Oh, jeez.
I would appreciate it if you two went to the scene. We will make sure Socko are on their way, but they could be a few hours because it's middle of the night.
Do we know any specifics, sir?
From what I gather from what the desk sergeant said, is suicide.
Oh no, that's awful. D.I. Taylor, or shall we go?
Yes, let's get going.
Want me to drive?
Yes, please. Thank you, Frank.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you guys drive. You kind of get along. You'll come around. So you'll come between where the church hall is and the vicarage / offices are, because there's a little driveway there, but there's like 3 pylons that are stopping you going. Well, not pylons, like what they called things. Stopping you from going any further. So you guys just get out, and it's literally like a 30-second walk to where they were called in, and you could probably see one of the 2 officers there.
Is it still raining?
Yeah, it's still raining.
Oh, jeez.
Detectives, bloody night.
What happened?
His body fell right in front of the constables and myself as we were on patrol, looking into a scream. It sounded like a woman's scream. I didn't see anything, but the constable saw a cloaked figure ducking away a couple 100 feet up, right about where this fall would have occurred. So right now, he's on the far side of the church, covering the door exits there, and I'm covering the door exits here. We're not certain if this was a suicide or if that hooded figure had anything to do with this.
Right. All right. So you said that PC Burley is searching through the church right now as we speak?
He's on the far side of the church, covering those exits on that far side. I'm covering these. We believe there's 6 or 7 exits. We can cover, I believe, 3 from here, and he can cover the other 3 or 4 on the other side.
Right.
We're trying to.
Did they send backup officers to be with us?
They will. The backup officers will come pretty much within like the next half hour. Socko will probably come within an hour or 2.
Okay.
It's just because it's like 1 a.m. and they've got like sort of so yeah.
I can secure the body here if you want to check out the church, or
I think it'd be best if we think this person could still be inside. We should go in and see, or at least see where the father fell from.
Yes. Examine the scene.
Yes.
Understood, detectives.
Okay.
Are the doors to the church open? Unlocked?
From what you gather, no, none of the doors look open. None of the 3 big doors, well 4 because there's one at the far end. None of the 4 big doors look open, but there are some side doors. And if you're checking a bit more, you'll notice that the one that leads into the choir rooms at the far end, like far opposite to the tower, it is unlocked. You can, it will open.
Must be the one that he used to get into the church.
Yeah, well, let's start there. Doors open. Let's do it.
I will say that I will just ask now before Gastrel and Taylor, would you have gone to the firearms officer to get a gun? Because
Well,
yes.
Actually, it's a good question because we're going out here to investigate a suicide.
If it's a suicide, no, probably not.
Okay. I just thought because that's how we work. Because you don't carry fire. You carry your taser or a baton with you. Detectives most likely will have a taser, and probably because the batons like go in, so they're just like retractable, so they'll just look like a small rod that you can just pop in to like a pocket or a belt.
Yeah, if we were called to a suicide, I wouldn't have been stopping for a handgun.
Okay.
But if the perpetrator might still be inside, now should we wait for backup before we go inside?
DCI said it was going to take him a while, yes? I'm concerned about this person getting away.
I'm concerned about him shooting us.
I'm going in, Frank. If you want to stay outside with the sergeant.
I'm just using caution. I'll go in with you. Where is PC Brearley?
So when they go around to that choir door, can I saw their car pull up, I assume. They had
you'd have been asked to the car, yeah.
But I wasn't going to leave the doors to talk, so maybe I'll radio. Or will I be able to see them when they go to the choir door?
Yeah, you'd be able to see them because to get a better view, you'd probably be that end anyway.
At the angle.
Yeah.
Are Brearley and Uxbridge armed?
They will have a taser and a baton. Yeah. They are not authorized firearms users.
Okay. All right.
We're securing the perimeter.
I'll have my taser out.
Yeah, so I'll just report that I'm going to keep an eye on the door and that nobody's come out yet, if that's true.
Right. All right.
Roger that, Constable.
So I've got my taser.
Okay, so as you two are about to enter the door, Briley and Uxbridge, you are like maintaining where you are. Is that correct?
Yeah. And since I'm with the body, I'm securing the body and monitoring the doors, waiting for backup or to hear from the detectives.
Okay. As you do that, you will hear a couple of sirens, so there is some more officers coming to. You can hear that they're probably a few seconds, a minute at max, away to come help cordon off and secure the area. So, with you. And Uxbridge, you will get a radio from the station. Sergeant Uxbridge, come in.
Sergeant Oxbridge here at the scene. Over.
Your chief has briefly spoken with DCI Harness, and you and your partner are to help Gastrel and Taylor in any means necessary. Whatever they need, you are partnered with them, because this is a very important man. If it was suicide, quick and easy case. But for that, you're with them. Officers should be arriving any second, from what I gather from radio chat.
Understood. Roger that. I'll reach out. We'll communicate to the detectives and put ourselves at their disposal. Over.
Thank you. Over.
PC Rarely, we are to assist the detectives if they require our assistance. We will have backup here within minutes to take over perimeter patrol. Over.
Understood.
Yeah, and as you say that, there are other officers like starting to walk. Like some have even just walked from the police station. Not even some have come from other places, but some have just walked across the bridge from the police station because it's like a 3-minute walk.
Oh, fantastic!
Good. So we're going to have a 3-minute conversation. Point out where he is, where he seems to have fallen from, where I thought I saw a figure. Ask if somebody brought a tarp we can put over the body in case there's any physical evidence that hasn't already been washed down.
Yeah, they will have all, like, especially because it's raining, they'll have all the specific stuff. But obviously, as you know, some evidence will disappear, but not all of it because water doesn't wash away everything. So.
One note before taking off to the church to check in with the detectives. I informed the police that have arrived that Constable Burley and myself had heard a scream that we were investigating, a possible ladies' scream in this vicinity prior to seeing this body fall in front of us. So I relay that information and then proceed to the church to check in with the detectives.
Okay. So,
and Uxbridge, I'm thinking we should check all the doors to make sure that they are as closed as they appear as we make our way around and then in.
Brilliant idea. Shall we loop, each of us take a side, loop around, and then
sure,
meet up?
We can meet at the choir door if everything else is locked up.
Perfect.
Yep.
That's good.
All right, we do that.
Yep. As you both will walk around, it will all the doors are literally locked. The choir door would be the closest door, like small door for him to get to, so it makes sense that this door is the one that he would have gone through. But yeah, you guys reach that door. Meanwhile, in the church, Gastrel and Taylor, as we've gone back in time a little bit, you guys have just entered the choir room. In there is just like a small wooden extension that was added. There's all the wardrobes where all the choir boys' apparel is in, stuff
right.
like that. So,
D.I. Taylor, should we head up? I think it's at the other end of the church.
Right.
Yes, it
and
is
it's
at the
all
other end.
dark in here. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So
we're also. I imagine we're both looking for anything that seems out of place in the church, like damage or vandalism.
Okay.
Yes.
So actually, this room does have like the lights on, but on that low power.
I see.
So it's low light. There are two out of the choir room. There are two doors. There's one that leads into like a little corridor where you can go up and you're in the organ, and then but if you go straight on down that way, it brings you out to the open chapel. If you go the other way, it brings you straight out right next to the high altar. So you'd have a direct.
I'll see if I can find the lights, the electrical panel, and get some light in here.
Yeah. You are at like the right end of the church for that. It's actually down that small corridor where you go up to the organ. Just on the side by the steps to the organ is the box.
All right.
I'm gonna head through to the main church area.
Okay. So Gastrel, is you're flicking the switches. Taylor, as you walk in, do me a spot hidden.
Yes, that is a hard success.
Okay.
Oh no, it's an extreme success.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know the first thing you notice when you go out is there are a couple of things knocked over. Not loads of things, just like a couple of stands and a couple of one of the lectern, like wooden small lecterns is over. And you can see the left tower door is open at the far end. Because the lights will have just come on.
Right. Okay, I'm going to approach the things that have been knocked over, see if there's anything to look at other than,
No, it literally just appeared, it doesn't appear like they were tossed aside. It just, maybe someone's just like given it a small push or someone's been pushed into it.
Right.
You can't really, they haven't gone like flying.
Been a bit of a scuffle, maybe. Maybe somebody chased him up the stairs.
I'm concerned. I see there's a lot of rooms on the first floor of this church. I'm concerned someone might be trying to hide it out because we don't see any of the doors outside open. So I'm wondering if someone's
I'll
hiding.
check them out, Mom. Oh, by now probably PS Expiration PC really have stepped into the church.
Yeah, because you will have taken a little bit of time. Yeah, Uxbridge Brearley, would you have gone straight through the choir into the main church? Through the choir room, or would you have cautiously gone through, checking?
I mean, as we see lights coming on, I think we'll assume that the interior has been established by us. I think, we'll announce that we're coming in, so as not to startle anybody.
Officers, there's a lot of small rooms on this level. Would you please secure them, make sure our perpetrator is not in any of them? I'll go with you, DI Taylor.
Right. Yeah, I'd like to go straight up to the scene.
All right.
Okay. So you both are heading straight for Tower Door. So Brearley and Uxbridge just to get out. So the areas that are like small, like the side rooms, you've got the organ, obviously the room that you just came out of. You have the Lady Chapel, the library, the clergy offices, the shop, a small office that's connected to the shop, and then they're really the only closed off structures where people could hide off.
Are any groups of the groups sort of clustered together? Like there's like two or three of the groups on one side and one or two of the rooms on the other side, or are they all sort of like?
So they're all like most of the other rooms. Actually, all of them are by the tower end.
Mm-hmm.
All of the other rooms are at that end because the end that you're at is obviously where the services take place. So all of the main rooms are. You'd be going the same direction as Taylor and Gastrel to get to any of the.
It looks like some are on one side of the door, or the main door, and the others are on the other side of that main door.
I would say I take the left and you take the right. I'd like to also shine my light under the pews as we go and make sure we don't just walk past somebody who's lying down.
Yeah, there are a lot of pews. I can vouch for that.
As Brearley does that, as he's looking back and forth up and down the aisles, I'm keeping my eyes forward, scanning back and forth the far end, so no one can run across while Constable Brearley is checking the rows out.
Okay. Okay, so that's what you two doing. Gaston and Taylor, at that point, as they're like taking their time going up, you guys will have reached that left open door that leads up to the tower.
Now, can we assume that if we go up this stairs to the tower and down the other stairs, there's no place anyone could hide along the way?
There's where the bell ringers ring, and there's the old staircase that leads up to the very top of the tower.
Okay.
But you guys know it's public knowledge that the public aren't allowed up there, and no one goes up there.
Right. Of course, criminals don't follow rules, but
yeah, because of how the structure is, those steps are very dangerous to. You'd be cautious to get up there. To get to that top bit, you have to climb 209 steps.
Oof.
Yeah.
Well, we're on our way
get
up.
started. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think if I remember rightly, about as you get to the 180th about step, that's where the door to where the bell ringers would go into, and
I'll take a look in there, ma'am.
Very good.
Okay.
And I'll keep going up.
Okay. Yeah. So Gaston, as you enter, it's an open space. There's the 13 bells. The rope for the bells are nice and neatly knotted, and the other door opposite side doesn't look like it's been disturbed.
Okay. I'm looking around with my flashlight, looking up into the bells.
Okay. Do me a spot hidden. If you're looking up, do me a spot hidden.
A6 is a pass.
Okay.
Regular pass.
Okay. So as you look up, above where the bells are hanging, the wooden floorboards are a little bit more see-through, and you do notice that there seems to be something there. Like, is it a book or is it a bit of fabric? You're unsure. There's something up there.
You mean in the floorboards?
Just
because the floor above us?
Because the floorboards are very thin. They're very thin, and so when the light comes through,
I can see through the cracks.
Yeah, so there does seem to be something there, and it goes across a few of the slabs. So,
I'm going to say rather loudly, D.I. Taylor, I can see the level above us. There's something that's peeking through the floorboards. Be careful.
All right, I'll check it out.
Is there any way to climb up? Is it something hanging through?
No, it's not hanging through.
Okay, so I can just see it through the cracks.
Yeah, because I mean, if I've been in that room, and literally you can see
Yeah.
like if there was someone up there, you would definitely be able to see them.
Okay. But there's no way to climb up to that spot from here.
You would have to go up to the next to where.
Right, I go up the stairs. All right, yeah. So I'm going to, if I don't see any other unsecured spot in this room, then I'm going to do that. I'm going to follow up behind her.
Okay, so Taylor, you have done the 209 steps. You are there. So how it works is you kind of follow it around. You follow it all the way around, and at each side there's like a stretch where it's open. So it's quite cold, and there will be a bit of rain. You see it dripping, so it's quite wet. It might be a bit slippery as well.
All right. Can I see what Gastrel was talking about?
To get into that little bit, there's a door, and that door is open. So.
All right. Yes, I'm gonna go through cautiously.
Yeah, you see, because it's obvious the floorboards are thing. There is a book there. A very thin book, almost.
Right. Make sure I have gloves on, and then I'll pick it up.
Yep. As you pick it up, closer inspection, it does seem like, because there's a little like small bookmark in there. It seems maybe it's some. Well, it's like one of those. It's like in the Call of Cthulhu rule books, the red ribbons. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks, and even if you opened it a little bit, you would see that it's some form of journal or diary.
Oh, interesting. All right, I'm gonna back out of the room and show this to Gastrel as well. No need to just be standing in the cold. Just quick look through. Does this look like the father's personal journal?
Yeah, it does. And the funniest thing is, he's written in all the dates of the days that he would be writing in the diary, but there's no actual entries written. It's just the dates are written.
Just dates.
It's
Frank,
dates.
you got a lighter, Frank?
Well, my flashlight.
Oh no, like cigarette lighter. If I under the pages. Anything show up?
Oh.
Yeah. yeah, you do. You do. But again, it's not like a diary entry. It seems to just be words. And every so often you'll just see like, the dark is coming. The dark is coming. And it's just in each of these diary entries.
We'll examine this back at headquarters.
Let's do that.
If he's using lemon juice or onion juice, then we can bring that out more clearly.
And does it keep going up? No, this is the top.
You can go further up to the very top, but that is like the dangerous stairs to get up there.
Let's look at this area and see where we think that he fell from or was pushed from.
Okay, so you'll easily know which side, because just looking out, you would definitely know which one's facing the waterfront. So as you guys are on that step, we will go down the stairs into the open bit to Uxbridge and Briley. So, so let's say I'm facing the way that Gastrel and Taylor was going. Who's taking the right and who's taking the left again?
I suggested that I go down the left.
Okay.
And scout.
All right.
Okay, so Uxbridge, you will have the shop and the shop's offices, and really you will have the clergy, the clergy's room, the lady chapel, and then up to the library.
Excellent.
What is a lady chapel? This is not a familiar term to me.
Oh, it's a small chapel. We either call it a lady chapel or a small chapel. So it's a private little chapel where sometimes small services will be held, but for like small congregations. And
I see. It's not for ladies. It's just because it's a smaller one. It's called.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
And it's we don't do confessionals, but if you were going to maybe want a private chat with in a more church-esque space, this is the place to do it.
Gotcha. And I guess, and there's nothing under the pews, obviously.
No, as you walk by, nothing under the pews at all. It just maybe the odd cobweb, and you might see a small spider.
Right, and there's no disorder in particular. There isn't a splash of water between two rows or anything. It's empty, and no obvious footprints, obviously.
No obvious footprints, and all the Bibles and all the Psalm books are neatly under each pew, and all the Neil stuff is there. Everything's in place.
Okay,
nothing
I think it
seems disturbed on the pew side.
So from my approach, the first doors are to the front entrance foyer. So I'll look in there and double check those doors.
Yeah, the front entrance seems fine. Doesn't seem like anyone's come through them because those doors are heavy and they are like bolted from this side. So, and they are still bolted.
All right, so the Lady Chapel's my next spot.
Yeah. Also, actually, where you are now, because I mislabeled it on the map. The library door is actually the closest to you from where you are at the entrance. You'd be right next to the library door if you chose to go there. But the Lady Chapel, they're both equal distance, really.
All right.
So
okay, so instead of 15, it should be 11. Is that?
So no, the library is literally above the front entrance. It's above the front entrance.
I see. Okay. Well, then I'll go up those stairs first.
Yeah, it's my mislabeling on my bizarre map. So yeah, you go up there. There are 24 steps up there. It's very tight. Very tight. You get up there, and yeah, you get in there, and it's just all the books. All the books are there. There are 1,200 books there because there's literally like they talk about it. You've probably been to the church a few times. You might have been there because you might have been up here because people come up here, tourists, not even just tourists. It's a place to go.
And the stump has this numerological motif, like that's part of its character. Is that all the numbers mean things. And the books look in order. There's stools not knocked over. Everything's.
Yeah, everything looks in order, and you know that you're not really meant to touch any of the books at all because they stay in that order. They're for viewing. There's a lot of like glass cases with like special Bibles and various scripts there. So it's like a mini museum of literature almost.
So it's a little spooky, but there's not a big pile of blood on the floor or
no, not a big pile of
a smashed glass case and a missing tome.
No, not as it might be dark or whatever in here, but you're pretty sure there's no smashed glass anywhere. Right. But you can do me a spot hidden there.
15 is extreme on the dot.
Okay, so just like you were looking for anything out of the ordinary. Yeah. And again, a lot of these books don't get touched. So a lot of them are dusty. So you can easily tell when something's been touched. And there are, on the right side, as you've entered, there's one of the rows of books. There are 3 books that have clearly been touched because they're not dusty.
Can I read their spines?
There's nothing on the spines.
Well, nobody can see me. I'm just gonna slide one of the dustless ones out gently. Maybe a nitrile glove for the occasion.
You'd probably have your gloves on because you're in a presumed crime scene, or like this whole area. Right. As you take them out, if you take all 3 of them out to check after you check this one, they're all blank. There's nothing in them. It's like someone's just taken what was ever here and replaced it with a blank book.
And they're leather bound. They match the things around them, but there's just nothing inside.
Just nothing inside.
Wow. All right. Well, I will put them back on the shelf, but like out by an inch.
Yeah.
And make a quick note in my notebook because that's obviously got to be photographed. We've got to find out from whatever authority what books have been stolen. Maybe see if we can tell when. That's okay. That's evidence of a crime, whether it be Hartman's or someone else's. So, is that something worth radioing into the others inside?
It's entirely up to you.
Rise to level. Okay, yeah, somebody, there appear to be some books that were stolen and replaced in the library. So we should, if we were under any doubt as to whether this was a crime scene, active or otherwise, something has been, somebody's been messing around with things. That's all I've found so far.
Okay.
Roger that. Understood. Over.
Are we a part of their radio chatter as well?
Yeah, you would have radios as well.
Okay.
Yours would probably be on your side belt.
Okay.
You'd probably have a channel set up for the four of you.
Yeah, I didn't intend to include you on that, so we have a tight 4-person channel established.
There's probably a couple of other people on the channel.
We don't know for sure if it's even related, but
How do you know they were replaced and stolen?
They were clearly interfered with, and upon inspection, I found that they are not books; they are dummies.
how odd.
Yeah, it would probably be an expensive forgery, even though they're blank. So it's a pretty strange, and it might be something that Hartman noticed, or who can say?
We also found a journal that's secure those books, because we've already found something that upon inspection seems to be written in invisible ink, i.e. lemon juice.
Okay, that's interesting. Maybe they're not blank, but they're in disguise.
Indeed.
Yeah, I've sort of tagged them so we can recover them. I don't want to carry them around.
Yeah, as long as as long as it's tagged, as long as people know it's there, it's a crime scene. People will come through and check. Yeah. So as long as it's tagged, it's all right, and it'll get bagged by probably Soccer or someone or another officer at some point. So really, just before, are you then going to go to the Lady Chapel?
Yeah, I'll go back down the narrow stairs and next door to the Lady Chapel.
Okay.
Assuming that I see, that Uxbridge is across the name in dire battle with, a masked fiend.
So Uxbridge, you going straight across to the right side of Uxbridge. The closest door to you is the shop, but these doors are so the shop door is here, and then the office door is there. So it's really up to you which one.
All right.
You go for.
No fingerprints. We'll go to the closest door. Enter. I turn the light switch on if there is one.
The lights are on because there's no roof to these buildings, so the light from the church doesn't.
Understood. All right, I step into the closest room first, and I first take a good look around from the doorway, and I step in and I start searching clockwise.
Yep. The shop.
Yes.
Not going to make you roll anything. The shop is empty. It doesn't seem like anything's happened here. Nothing out of place. Nothing of value. No one's hidden behind the counter. Nothing.
No storage closet?
Nope. There's no storage closet. Anything in the shop. Maybe you would know this, maybe you won't. But for purposes, would be kept in the office at the back. There's a small room at the back of the office that has storage and supplies.
Okay. I will go and check that out.
Okay. So if you go out and into the office, someone's clearly been in the office. Straight away you can tell someone's been here because there's papers spread around. Not like someone's gone and made a mess, just looking at papers, spreading them, trying to find the right one.
Okay. So I'll go in. I'll do a periphery look in the office first. There's no one in there or in any hiding place. I first look for that.
No one there. The storage door is closed, but there is no one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will go to the storage door though, and because I want to make sure, because anyone can close the door after them. So I will open it.
Okay.
Quickly. With
you
my
open it.
baton.
and it's just boxes of supplies, and you've got like boxes that would have like the pencils that they sell in the shop, the little stumped teddy bears and stuff like that, all just in there. It's just boxes and boxes, and you really don't, unless someone was so desperate to climb over these boxes, you'd be able to tell anyway, because there's not, none of the boxes are like hard, so you'd be able to tell if someone stepped or climbed over them.
So no one's in here from my
no one's in here.
All right, so I will just close the door. I'll go back. I'll take a look over the spread papers about, see what they might have been, what might have been looked for.
As you are looking, do me a power roll.
Oh no, not a spot hidden. I was hoping a spot hidden. Oh no, I got a 96. It's just good.
Okay, Uxbridge. So you are looking at these papers, and all of a sudden, in your right ear, there's just a loud female scream in your ear, and it really hurts. It's almost like your ear's about to burst and blood's gonna pour, but it doesn't burst. And then the scream, you can even hear it disappear, because the church, there's an echo, and you just hear it slowly fade away.
Did it sound like the scream that Brarely and I heard outside?
You're unsure, because two different sets of acoustics. You're kind of unsure. So.
Oh God, Brarely, where did you get a location on her scream?
Did I hear only his scream, or hers?
You only hear him. So if he let out a scream, you heard, or like you only heard him.
I heard you, Uxbridge. Is everything all right?
Yeah, there was a loud, shrieking, piercing scream in here. A lady. Just now, you didn't hear it? It was really loud.
I thought I heard you cry out. Nothing else. Detectives, did you hear a female scream?
Did we? No.
No, nothing up here.
Nothing up here.
Yeah, sounds like Uxbridge, it must have been something that seemed loud because it was close to you. Should I come over?
Yeah, perhaps if you are done with your search, come over here. I'm in the office area next to the storage room right now.
I mean, there's more rooms over here, but I don't mean I can keep an eye on them. I'll come over and see.
All right.
So yeah, really, it doesn't take you long to get over there. You get over there, and yeah, so you're both in there. There's papers on the desk, and if you open the drawers, there's like ledgers with financial information and stuff like that. But it doesn't seem like anything of interest here. Nothing that would, because you know from what the Reverend said to you that he was looking for something important of some kind. It doesn't seem like there's anything that he would be looking for. There's nothing addressed to him, nothing addressed. It's all financial stuff.
In the store is not like, there aren't big tickets items here, right? They're selling tourist items.
Yeah, tourist.
In a good week, it's, £50 might pass through this office.
Yeah, and also they keep minor finances for the entire church. The main finances and stuff are all done in the bigger offices, which are the vicarage.
Yeah. And there's obviously nobody hiding who could have screamed.
No.
How does William Uxbridge seem? Does he seem
shaken? Just a little shaken.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if there isn't something. Could you have triggered an alarm or something? And that's what we heard. Could there be some wire? But I don't know why I wouldn't hear it.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not prone to hear ladies' screams. I was pretty certain I heard. It was really loud and deafening to me.
Was it like an angry scream or a terrified scream or a scream of attack? I don't know if you can.
Terrified scream.
Yeah, terrified. There's terrified scream.
So,
It's really odd. No one else heard it though.
Yeah. There hasn't been any thunder just lately, right? We didn't miss it under thunder.
No. The thunder is very far and few between. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, I haven't done the Lady Chapel or the Vicar's office yet. If you're done on this side, we can go together.
Yeah, you are basically done on that side. So.
Yeah, I'm really concerned about that scream I heard, but I mean, there's no. So I listen extra hard, and do I hear anything else in the background? Any movement? Anything?
Just the rain and maybe chatter outside.
Yeah.
If the police are because they might be speaking a bit louder, the officers outside, so you might hear that, you might not.
Very uncanny. Well, let's continue with our search. If I'm the only one, if another scream comes out and I'm the only one hearing it, I don't know. I might need a vacation.
So as you guys are walking back to the other side, as you walk past the left entrance up the tower, we go through the entrance and all the way up to the top, and we are back with Gastrel and Taylor.
Says that he heard a scream. That's odd.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything.
I didn't hear anything. So is there any evidence of a scuffle or?
So what you see, you don't. It's starting to like drip, but there's no need. You both are keen investigators. You've been doing this for a while. Your rank says everything. You do see there is blood. There's like a line of blood directly in the middle,
as if he was dragged, thrown over.
It's on the balcony bit. Like there's a line of blood on the balcony.
Okay.
Where he went over.
Yeah.
So he was bleeding before he went over.
And that's a good assumption to make.
We should have Soko do ballistics in this area. See if he was shot.
See if there's any evidence on the body.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, but by now you've been here a little while. You will have had over the radio that Soko are like 20 minutes away. 20 minutes.
That's fine. Is there anything else that can be gleaned from this scene here?
Do me a forensics roll, both of you. You both. It's in the.
I see it. Yeah. I'll spend 2 luck to pass.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a fail.
Okay, so Taylor, you're having a keen eye on this. You're looking over. You're looking on the floor. Gastrel, you actually come to you look at it, how he's fallen, and then you're kind of looking up. You're an investigator, and how it goes up is there's quite a gap between. So if someone was to fall from up there, it's not that high of a drop. You wouldn't die. You might be knocked unconscious from that drop, but right. it would look like that someone, if they fell from there, it looks like someone like a head gash. And from the length of the blood, it looks like someone's head. Like
so, like somebody was up higher and they fell and they hit this, and then
you wouldn't think it was a body, but if someone like cracked the head on it, maybe, or something. It's more speculation than anything. It's more you theorizing.
Should we go to the top?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
I'm also thinking, if somebody murdered him, what motivation? We need to go through his office and all the paperwork and
and
see if there's something
go to
funny
the
going
vicarage across the street, see if there's any financial information we can find out. Right.
All right.
Okay. Let's keep going up.
Yeah, you both know that by the morning, the other reverends will be available for speaking,
Right.
and
Okay.
the correct people who are in, like, notable people in the church will be available for interviewing. So yeah, you get to, there's only one door that leads up to there, and it's closed, not locked, because going past it, there's like a gap in the stairs anyway, so the stairs is kind of crumbled, so no one's gonna go up there. And it does say "do not enter" on the door, but the door is unlocked.
I'm a size 65. What size are you?
I am 50.
Yeah, so you're the smaller, lighter one.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do be careful, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you, Astral.
Okay. So, Rebecca, as you're going up there, do me a dex roll for me.
You're falling down 200 and some odd feet.
Success. Just a regular success.
Okay, yeah. It does for a little while feel like you could feel that you're going to fall through, because you can feel like the crumbling stone underneath, but you get up there.
Gastral's probably best you stay back there.
When you get up there, you're on another landing that leads to a ladder, that then there's like a hatch that you go to the top.
Is there anything to see around this, or is it just the ladder going straight up?
As you look around, it's an open area other than the ladder. It does seem there's like a few rags and blankets up here.
Like someone was staying up here, like signs of inhabitants or something like that, or
yeah, almost like what you would see a homeless person with.
Gastro, I think we might have had a squatter up here.
Really?
Yeah. If you want to try to come up here, just be careful. Watch your footing.
I'll be very, very cautious to move forward, testing each step.
Okay, if you're being extra cautious, you can do me a dex with a bonus die.
What is my dex? Oh, there it is. Well, the first one's a pass. Yeah, so I'm cool.
Okay, yeah, you're going up there slowly, but you get up there, and yeah, you'll see what D.I. Taylor saw.
Is it just blankets and rags? Is there any personal belongings other than that?
No personal belongings, just blankets and rags, and the blankets do look like they have been used as like hairs on there and stuff like that.
I'll look around the area thoroughly. Are we still not quite at the top?
Right,
You gotta go up the ladder, yeah.
There's still the ladder. It's dusty up here.
It's very dusty up here. You would be surprised. That's the thing that's surprising both of you is if someone has been up here, one, how they got away with it, and two, it's so dusty up here, you could possibly like pass out or something.
Well, is there evidence that there's dust on the ground that's been moved, and
the floor isn't dust? It isn't dusty, so that kind of
something's been moving around.
Right.
But there are cobwebs, and like the side, there's on like the little indents in the walls, there's like thick bits of dust on there.
I don't like the looks of this.
I don't either.
Was the priest keeping somebody up here? Why? Quasimodo?
To what purpose? I would more believe someone was hiding up here before I'd think the father was keeping someone up here. But why?
Let's see what's the next.
Yeah, let's keep going up.
Okay, so climbing up the ladder, you will have to go obviously single row, and you'll have to wait until someone's open the hatch and that. So I want whoever's going up first, a dex followed by a strength roll.
right. Gastro, let me take this one.
You're the
So
lightest one.
Dex.
I'll catch you if you fall. Yeah.
Cheers. I
We'll
failed the Dex.
we'll both go through the
Do
fall.
I need to make the strength roll because I failed the Dex roll?
If you'll kind of fall, we'll say that you didn't get too far up and you just fall, like stumble back.
Gastral, maybe you're a bit steadier on your feet.
All right, I'll have a go at it.
Okay.
22.
Okay.
And then I need a strength roll?
Yeah, strength roll. So yeah, you're up there, but this is an old hatch.
Right, 28. 28 out of 65, so that's a hard.
Yeah, no issue. You push that up. And yeah, you're instantly hit with rain.
Oh, okay, so we're outside.
Yeah. Yeah, the very top.
I'm going to poke my head out and look around, see if there's something about to rip my head off.
Okay. As you get there, as you're looking out, do me a power roll for me.
Both of us are just
just Gastro, because at the minute he's just poking.
Well, I got a 57 out of 55.
Okay.
I could spend 2 luck just to keep from losing my brains. I think I will.
Okay, yeah. So you barely pass, but so you look up and you don't get any, but just like a bit of wind comes by and the rain hits your face, and in that wind, like as you go up, like there's whispers going past you, and through your ear, and it's just like, I didn't do it.
I'm moving to California. Nothing up here, Mom. And I'm going to come back inside and close the hatch.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you hear anything, Mem?
No, just the rain and the wind.
All right.
Let's should we tag up with the boys downstairs? See if they found anything.
Yeah. Let's go down the other stair just in case the guy's hiding halfway down.
Let's do that.
On that stair.
Okay. Yeah, you guys will go down without no issue. You'll be checking, and it doesn't look like someone's been down here.
Okay.
And when you get down there, the door is locked, but you can actually unlock it from this side.
Okay.
So, without having to use a key, you can unlock it from this.
Sure.
So yeah, you guys will get through. But before that, going back in time a little bit and back down the stairs, and across. You guys are Uxbridge and Briley. You are kind of just at the intersection where you can go to either of the doors, either the clergy room or the lady chapel.
There's room for 2 people easily in both.
Yeah, the lady chapel's big.
Let's take the lady chapel first, but keep an ear out in case, because we're running out of hiding places.
Yeah.
And we have no reason to believe that anybody got out.
Okay.
So are there candles lit in the lady chapel and a strange scent of incense?
There is as you go into the lady chapel, there is a weird smell.
Oh,
and
weird.
You can't quite place the smell, and there seems to be no light in here other than candles. But when you look at the candles, they seem to be flickering off and on. The actual lit candles. The flame seems to be going out and then coming back.
Oh, that's really weird. Is there a draft in this room?
Yeah, there is a draft, but it's not like a big draft, not something to cause all like, there's probably like 30 candles in here.
And they're lit.
Yeah, all of them are lit. And so how this room is, so as you go in, to the right, there's some pews and like some bookshelves, and then to the left it goes across a bit, and there's some more pews, and that's where the altar is, the small altar in here is. And kneeling on the altar is a hooded figure. And you start to hear weeping.
Okay, batons out. Is this weeping sound male or female?
Female.
Miss, are you in distress? Do you know about the Reverend Miss?
And it's just more crying. And then you hear a small child, maybe a baby crying as well.
From her direction?
Yeah, from her direction.
Radio to the general channel. We have a hooded figure in the Lady Chapel. And
make sure she doesn't get away.
Possibly two.
Yeah, at this point, you guys are probably about halfway down the flight of steps.
We're on our way down.
There's only one door into this room, correct? There's no other way out?
Yep, there used to be another door, but that got sealed off a lot. Well, it no longer exists, basically.
Okay,
that door.
I'm standing by the door, so I'll actually physically block the door.
Okay.
And I'll tentatively and slowly approach the figure on their left side.
Okay.
Just trying to make soothing noises, like, whatever happened, we're the police are here.
As you get closer and as you start talking more soothingly, the crying starts getting quieter, and then it stops. As you reach the figure, the crying stops.
Human and infant?
Yep. Both.
Miss, do you need any assistance?
No response.
And I'm like trying, I don't want to be like holding a baton over this weeping figure's head, but I'm certainly holding it straight armed with my right hand.
Yeah.
In case she turns around, and spits acid.
As you're close to, you're like very close to her.
Yeah, I'm leaning in.
You feel cold. Very cold.
And this figure is silent and quiet.
Yeah, and now that you're close, you do see there's some slight, like a tiny bit of rocking happening.
We can get some blankets for you. We can have an ambulance if you require. I'm PC Brearley, Miss. Who are you?
Again, just no response, and it's almost the whole. Actually, it is dead silent for just. It's still raining outside. You can see it hitting, but the whole room is silent. Even to you, Uxbridge. Just this chapel is silent.
Okay, gently reaching out with my left hand to put it on her shoulder.
Okay, as you do that, you notice your hand starts to sink through her shoulder.
Okay, that's a couple steps back.
And then she like instantly turns around and you just see this pale face, almost like disfigured, and this like skeleton that she's rocking. It's not even in blankets, it's like this skeleton of a child. And she just jumps into your face and you can almost feel her go straight through you, and you just get a sense of cold. And Uxbridge, you will see this figure go straight through Brearley and then just vanish in front of you. Brearley, you start to bleed from your nose.
So I rush over to Brearley. Did the lady suspect disappear?
Just to you, Uxbridge, because Brearley was still wasn't facing her. You were the only one, and she vanished in front of you.
Yeah, I'll rush over to Brearley.
Sanity rolls from both of you.
Dear Lord.
You don't say.
30 on the button. I think I passed it.
That's 22. That's a good solid pass.
Yep, pass.
1d4.
Oh, geez. Yeah,
Both of
yeah, that makes sense.
And I assume that I'm also chilled to the core.
Three.
Yeah, you for like the next hour, you will be very
Cold no
cold.
matter
Like, you will want to wrap up.
I rolled a 1, but I think I'm going to take 2 because that's just silly. Nobody is so sable. Although, now should I roll my occult skill?
And suddenly the noise is back in there. You can hear the rain. And the candles are not lit and the light's actually on in this room.
Well, and there's not even any smoke from the candles, I assume.
No smoke.
Yeah.
And that weird smell has disappeared.
Well, Uxbridge, I think we found your screamer.
My God, it was like a ghost. She just disappeared. Like I'm going over to like with her trajectory through Brarely, just in disbelief, searching the area. Nothing.
Nothing. Not a trace.
This can't be. Yeah, this was just like a ghost. My God, are you okay, Brarely?
Yeah, I'm okay. Did you see her baby? Did you see her face?
I just saw she was ghostly white and kind of skeletal, and she just looked like she went right through you and disappeared.
She went right through me.
At this point, Gastrel and Taylor, you will have come down the right stairs.
Okay.
Did they say they were in the Lady Chapel?
Yeah, you will see that the door's open, and because there are windows into there, you might even see them just there.
Okay.
I don't see any. Where's this hooded figure they're talking about? Let's go see.
Yeah, detectives in the Lady Chapel. Suspect is missing. Not sure. Come in here when you can. Over.
Missing.
What do we say?
You are now all together.
Right.
I'll just say that you're all together.
Now you said she was there.
Yeah, she was.
So, William, what do you say I try to describe for the detectives what I think I saw? Maybe we should even separate and do it, because you guys are going to think that we're insane, or we're
good idea.
Drinking brandy in our coffee before our shift.
I'll step out and cover both exits of the staircases while you talk to the investigators.
Okay. And in the Lady Chapel, I relay what I remember.
And you say that the entire room was different, though. It had candles lit, and
the overhead light was the candles were lit. They didn't smell like candles. It smelled like what did it smell like?
You can't even describe what it smelled like.
Yeah, it didn't. It smelled unnatural. The room was unnaturally cold. We approached the figure in an appropriate fashion, and the figure quieted. It seemed to be a woman holding an infant, but when it turned around, the face was pale and deformed, and the infant was a skeleton, not even a dead infant. But it just went right through my body. It just went right through me.
A ghost. We're chasing ghost stories now. Yeah. Are there other ghost stories associated with this church?
Really, you can do an occult roll. You guys know the basic story, but I'll just some basic stories. But I will.
Since I happen to have an interest. That's a significant enough fail that I'm not gonna. It doesn't. And honestly, I wouldn't want to be the one who knew the tale of the. But I would like, I'm gonna just ask the detectives, we haven't got any reason to concoct a crazy story. I just want you to go and ask him what he saw, because otherwise I'm gonna feel like I'm crazy. Or then
Have we finished securing this level?
The only thing is the vicar's office next door.
The clergy room. Yeah.
Clergy room. And nobody's been in there, so. it can wait.
So just as a quick thing, so the one story you do know, as I would have given you more details on it, obviously if you passed wrong, but the one thing you do know is the Grey Lady is something that supposedly haunts the church.
Was the cloak gray?
Yeah, it was grey. There was basically just whole grey. The pale face was grey, and
Well, we have reason to believe somebody was up in the tower, but let's we need to check the office.
Yeah, and I'd like to speak with Uxbridge, but yeah, both of those. Let's do that.
Right. So I'll head to the office.
okay. So so the clergy office bit is like right there. Going in there, if anyone follows you, it's literally all that's in there is there's a desk, there's a computer, there's a toilet, like toilets, a couple of toilet cubicles, like in a separate room, smaller room, and then there's just all, it's like the choir room, there's all like the clergy outfit apparel in there.
Well, I want to look through his things, maybe see if I can gain access to his computer, find out if somebody bumped him off because he's illegally gambling or something. Who knows?
Okay, so looking in here, he does have the Reverend does have like a space for his stuff, but it doesn't seem like he keeps it in the clergy room.
Okay.
Probably need to go to the vicarage for that.
Yeah.
Well, on top of the vicarage, you know that the curate James Vogel lives in the smaller vicarage, which is the one across the way.
Okay.
You know that Hartman lives in the other vicarage on Church Street, which is like a 5-minute walk, maybe 10.
I have to do all that in the morning when we can. What time are there services in the morning, or is this not Sunday? Or
it's not a Sunday, so there won't be. It does open for the public, but obviously it won't because it's a crime scene. Right. But there'll be definitely people around tomorrow. And you have on news that Socko are here, or are just turning up, so they will start getting their things and heading out.
We'll definitely have to go to the vicarage and talk to the people that knew him and get a lot of interviews.
Aside from the body, I'll direct Soko upstairs where there's the blood trail and.
Yeah. Okay, so just so outside of the other constables and that have set up a tent with the bodies under, and they've covered the body as well. So and Soko are here. They're in like their white.
Right. We should have a look at the body too before we go.
But yeah, I'll just briefly segue back to that. Even on the computer, because you said because there is a computer in there, you found nothing. It's just basic, just basic stuff for basic emails for the clergy. Maybe the head, forgotten his name, but does one of the higher ups that isn't a vicar or isn't a vicar probably uses this and not actually the reverends themselves.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, I'm interested in going to the area, the 1200 books library, and with this recent experience of a ghost, which is just blowing my mind, I'd like to look through there. Is there anything about the Grey Lady, the Grey Ghost, anything in there, any lore, anything that might cover that?
The only stuff that you think that would cover it is anything on the occult or in religious myths and stuff like that. But there doesn't seem to be any books, because there's like a little glossary kind of thing. I haven't actually been to that library, and I haven't actually ever been up in the library there, so I don't know. But we could just say that maybe there's a tablet that you can turn on, and there's like a glossary of what books should be where. And we can just say that you should skim through it. Do me an intelligence roll, we'll say.
Intelligence?
Yeah,
And
intelligence.
37. I sure hope that's a pass. Yeah, good.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're all quite
no,
intelligent.
No sergeant with under.
Yeah, you skim through, and you're going ultra fast through because there's a lot of text to look through, and you do notice that there are 3 books that correspond in the order to the 3 blank books that Braley found.
Oh, someone was onto this. Maybe the Reverend was trying to figure out what's going on. I point this out to everyone, to detectives, and of course my partner, Constable Burley. Do you think there's a correlation, detectives?
I don't know.
Seems like it. As crazy as the story sounds, we saw this.
It's all information that we need to be keeping track. Well, we are keeping track of it, and see if something comes together to explain what happened here.
Good to know
These
what the titles are that are missing. And of course, we're gonna,
does it say in the directory, the tablet, like the titles of the books? Probably. Would that be there? Could we at least jot that down or take a screenshot of it?
Yeah, they're actually 3 books that were submitted to the collection by Hartman himself. And they are actually, as you could see, they are all in German. Because Hartman's German, and he comes from a German family. They moved here like 50 years ago.
I just happened to speak a little bit of Deutsch.
Well, as a thing, German and French are taught in the schools in Boston. So I think that most schools are taught German or French. So that's just to explain why you have those.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
But yeah, you would speak basic. You would understand basic. Maybe even not basic. You might understand quite a bit, some complex, because schools go into quite a bit of detail to try and learn how to have a good conversation and bits and bobs in German. So yeah, you could, if you could find them, you think you might be able to.
Yeah, the important thing is that when they're blank books, it doesn't matter what language they used to be written in.
We know their titles, right?
We know their titles, and we know what year they're from originally. That the books that Hartman contributed.
Yeah. You know that they are from. Well, it doesn't say the years, but it just says 16th century.
I certainly hope they're not unspeakable.
Yeah, they are, and as all in German.
But does this looks like it's been recently ransacked in here and books removed, right?
Yeah,
this doesn't look like it's missing for a long time, but this.
I mean, I've left it for Soko to do close detail, but as far as I can tell, those were the only books in here that had been disturbed.
Yeah,
I'm not sure you can tell how long ago it's been, except that they weren't dusty.
You all know that Soko might. It's a push. They might be able to tell you at least the time frame of when they could have been taken. They can't give you a specific because of how it is, but they can give you like a loose.
So what do we have so far? We have books that have been stolen and replaced with blanks. We have a priest who has been possibly murdered and pushed out of the tower, but apparently maybe he climbed up to the higher level and then slipped and hit his face or his head on the balcony, and then fell.
Interesting.
Evidence of a squatter.
Have evidence of a squatter, and we have some sort of haunting. We have the journal, which we need to probably pop that in the oven, and it'll.
I'm wondering if we gave the same treatment to the books, if they'd.
Let's bring the books, but my guess is the books are
just fakes,
so that nobody notices that the books have been stolen.
Right.
Well, detectives, I want to also put forth before we saw what appeared to be the ghost, I heard a shrieking, piercing yell. No one else heard it. And I know it sounds crazy. I've had 20 plus years on the force. I'm not prone to this. No one else heard this apparently. But have any of you heard anything bizarre or strange?
It's a creepy old church, and sometimes we hear things. But you've seen a female ghost. It sounds ridiculous to say, but maybe she's the one who screamed. If only you could hear it. I'll admit that when I climbed up into the top of the tower and poked my head out into the open air, the wind distinctly had a sound as if it was whispering. I don't know if it was an illusion or if I'm just creeped out. But yeah, something very strange is going on here.
I'd really like to see those books, see what's in them.
Well, let's see what Ahsoka has to say once we get the forensic back on the body. And
we're still only, probable that it's even Hartman's body. I mean, that was based entirely on his clothing.
They should be able to tell us. They'll check.
Yeah, they'll know.
Taylor, you wanted to do a quick examination of the body as well?
Yes. I don't want to fuss around with it. Let Soko do their jobs, but at least have a look at it.
And it's also, I want to reiterate to the detectives that the office across had been searched in some kind of sloppy fashion, like it had been disturbed. So it's not, even though we found no person that was tangible, in addition to the 3 books being replaced, there was also some other kind of, I don't want to say ransacking, but mucking about, whether that was Hartman himself looking for something or some intruder that got out.
Well, we also saw that there were some things that looked like they were knocked over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You two were on patrol this evening, right?
Yeah.
Did you see Father? Did you see the Father, Hartman?
Yeah, we generally do.
Yeah, around it was around 11:30 p.m.
Nothing seemed weird.
No.
The only exceptional thing was that instead of being on his way home, he was on his way, he said, to look at some files.
Yeah. Then it started to pick up and rain. We did hear a scream. It sounded like a woman's scream in the direction of the water side of
Is it like the scream you heard earlier, Uxbridge?
I tried to piece them together. I'm not fully certain if it was the same, but I'm not certain that it wasn't either. But the constable and I searched the area, and during that search, that's when the body fell.
Okay.
That's also when shortly thereafter, actually almost immediately, Constable Brearley spotted that cloaked figure up at the top.
Before the body hit the ground, did he yell?
It was raining pretty hard, but no, we were looking around for a possible source of the scream when the body.
Well, not just that scream, but I'm thinking that if anybody fell from that height and was conscious, they'd have a good scream before they hit the ground.
It is hard for me to believe that anybody, even a willing suicide, would be able to hold in a scream when falling from a height like that.
I'm wondering if he hit the banister and knocked himself unconscious and fell. and that it was more of a slip than a suicide.
Might he have brought those 3 books up there to read them for some reason up there?
We
and
didn't
then got
see any.
frightened by maybe what he read and then ran, hit himself in the head and fell?
Found his personal journal. No other books up there.
He found his journal.
I don't think anybody would take a multiple 100-year-old volume out to a high place in the rain to read it.
Be no reason to.
Could
The fact that I'm sorry.
Could the scream have been a witness that saw him fall the first time before, when you guys arrived on the scene, then he fell the second time down to the ground? Do we have any witnesses?
It was so late at night. How far apart was the scream and the priest hitting the ground? Were they seconds?
No, a good few minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
So the
several
scream
Right.
didn't scare the priest and make him fall.
Okay.
Yeah, we heard the scream. We went to investigate. We spent a couple minutes searching,
Okay.
and then the body fell.
Well, it's highly suspicious that is he the Reverend? We should call him the Reverend. That the Reverend is keeping a journal in invisible ink because he doesn't want anybody to accidentally read it. We might find out some very disturbing things about him. Because why else do it?
If he was translating the mysterious book, why would he have donated it to the library? And what books did it replace? They always have 1,200 volumes.
Is there any way for us to find out what those books are? I mean, do we know what they are?
You just know they're books in German that he brought here. There wasn't any specific information on them, unlike other volumes. So maybe he just donated them there without providing much information, and maybe no one spoke enough German too, and just left him because he was loved by a lot of people. So they just
And nobody wrote down the titles of the books that he had.
There are titles in German.
So
Okay.
would we be able to maybe look up on our
you have
on our
phones,
cell
yeah.
phones just what they might be? I mean, actually, you detectives probably know some sites that are probably better for this sort of thing.
Well, and I speak
Right.
German too, so
I was about
Yeah.
to say, can someone translate these titles?
Yeah. So I could just say between you all, some of you will know German. I think 2 or 3 of you know German.
I've got 35%. So
Oh yeah, it's you then. I'm just 20.
So one of the books, I'm going to butcher this name, was called The History of Freihausgaven. I will type it out later. It's a town in Germany.
Frau Blucher.
Freihaus something. The other book was called The Dark That Waits.
The Dark That Waits.
Der Dunkelheit was bleibt oder wartet.
The Reverend mentioned something about the darkness in his journal.
And then the other one was basically the German Guide to the Occult.
Oh. Das German Guide to the Occult.
Yeah.
Half.
What was the first one again? The first one was that difficult name. That
The history of
village.
Freihausen
Staaten spielen Dachen.
I'll make sure to type it in chat. But yeah, those are the 3 books.
Ah, there we go.
So right. So they were unusual books, but he brought them into the church library, and then they were replaced. And now
the only one that seems in place there is the German Guide to the Occult. That might be. The other 2 don't seem to fit the theme of the other anthologies. Like they don't. Yeah.
Very strange.
Do we know anything about Father Hartman other than
That he was loved?
is German?
But the basic knowledge is his family moved here about 50 years ago. Yeah, he was born here.
Okay.
So
how
very
old?
nice.
He was here for 10 years. How old a fellow was he?
he was 49 years old. His 50th was coming up.
And his whole family converted to Anglicanism?
Yeah, they all his father was one of the reverends.
Oh. And he didn't marry himself?
No, he didn't marry. Hartman did not marry himself. No.
Yeah, we've known him for some time. We see him all the time on the beat, and he's always seemed to be a very pleasant, level-headed gentleman.
Well, the investigation begins. We have to do research on the backgrounds of all of this.
Yeah.
Perhaps he came from Pfeifenhofen, Hassenhofen.
Yeah.
How does the body look? Just a cursory.
Right. And is there any initial SOCO report that they give the detectives?
So SOCO have just got there. They probably got a coffee. They are kind of trying to wake up. They've set they're still setting up properly. They say they'll have everything done by the morning. There's nothing much you guys can do today. They just suggest you go get sleep. But Taylor, as you were doing a cursory glance, do me a forensics. Anyone else who wants to do a cursory glance or whatever, or like a quick...
I will spend luck on that to make it a regular success.
67 out of 70. So it's wet and it's rainy and it's dark and it's...
I'll take a look at it.
Okay, so Taylor, you succeeded.
3.
Yes.
And Uxbridge is on her up. Taylor, you kind of notice, the stuff that you notice is, as I said, you guys will have seen this man. Obviously, Uxbridge and Briley are a bit more kind of, but he seems a very devout Christian gentleman. He seems to have a lot of, you roll up and he seems to have a lot of tattoos that you've never seen before, like just on his arm, like upper arm. Oh, because he had sleeves down, there was some tattoos there.
Take a picture of that.
I'm wondering if the clergy don't allow something like that. I know the Catholics don't. Priests are supposed to be...
What are the nature of these tattoos?
So they're all like black, like tentacle-esque tattoo. There's no there don't seem to be anything else. They just seem to be like these circular black tentacles that kind of drizzle down like they're going into a snake.
Like some sort of tribal tattoo?
Yeah, kind of. Maybe something that you would get if you were... You might see these in people who are inducted into something, or, as I said, a tribal, or even a clan, or an organization.
Well, let's do some research. And maybe he was in the war. Maybe he was in some situation before he became a priest.
Uxbridge.
A cross around his neck. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, Uxbridge.
Yeah. To answer that question, yes, he does. There is a cross, but the cross is kind of now wedged into his
right.
Okay.
But Uxbridge, you notice, you kind of, Taylor's looking at arms. You turn his face, and obviously you see it's squished in, and it looks awful. But you notice that in his eyes and mouth and nostrils, there seems to be like this slimy goo almost. It's not goo, it's not snot, but it's just it's like a slimy substance.
Oh, that's very weird. I point that out to Detective Inspector Taylor right away. I'll take a quick snapshot of that too.
What is that?
Well, and Soko is here, right? So
yeah. Let's leave that up to them.
Get some Get some
That's-
samples of this.
For sure.
I will do. We will do. As we said, it will take a little while. We'll get reports to you and everything in the morning, but it's late. You guys look exhausted. Some of you look a bit shaken. Maybe
We're going to have to go to the vicarage tomorrow anyway and tell them what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, and detectives, our inspector, our chief inspector has assigned us to assist you in any way for this investigation.
All right. Well, should we meet back up here tomorrow?
Yes, I think it's a good place to start
So
first
we
thing.
can look around the grounds in the daylight.
That's the name. That's the name of the town.
Freihausgarten. Unless we should meet at the station because there might be reports for you there from Soko, or will those all just be digitally available to
likely
you?
they'd be at the station. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Soko, they if it was a minor case, they would probably send it to like your work email, like your in database email. But stuff like this, especially if it seems suspicious, it will be done in reports and put on the DI's desk.
We'll have a briefing at 8 a.m. at the police station. What's going on?
Yeah, that'll give you guys a few hours sleep and just to chill. Excellent. You might not even sleep, but
I'll sleep.
So you're all at your homes or flats or whatever, and you are all asleep. Can you do me power rolls, all of you?
Oh no.
91.
Okay.
D4 is a fail also.
22 is a hard success.
Okay.
It's a good thing I rolled for that forensics because that was a 92. So I got that out of the way.
Briley and Taylor, you actually, considering you don't have much sleep, you have a nice enough sleep. And Briley,
I failed.
You failed.
I failed badly.
What did you get? I thought you said you got an O2 or something.
No, 95.
Oh, 95. Oh my god. I thought I heard like
the one with the ghost that ran through them is fine.
So everyone
perhaps
else
just emptied of spirit.
Okay, yeah. Maybe you're just so exhausted, Briley, that your mind's just relaxed. So, Uxbridge, what was your failure?
64 out of 60.
Gastro, what was yours?
It was in the 90s. I bumped my dice, so I don't remember.
Okay, so Uxbridge, you kind of have a restless night. You wake up a couple of times, and again you get these like little whispers in your ear, just random phrases, and you can't quite elaborate on what they're saying, but that's what's keeping you awake for most of the night. Gastrel and Taylor, you are dreaming. You are asleep. You are dreaming, and you both find yourselves in a dark space, a very dark space, and you find yourself like floating forwards, and you come into a cavern, a very dark cavern, and then you see this black mass in front of you, and you see a flicker of something in the center of this black mass, like something's about to open. But before it opens, you both awake to this loud scream. This loud scream of this woman saying, "I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't hurt him. I tried to help him. Please. It's this cursed place." And then silence. and then you wake up. Well, you're awake.
Yeah.
You're shaken. You won't fall asleep again, and then you're all at the office at 8 a.m. One of you nice and awake, one slightly tired, and two exhausted looking detectives.
Right.
So yeah, you are there, and reports are on your desk. Taylor, they're waiting for you.
Very well. Gastrel, you want to look these over with me?
Sure.
Okay, so the reports on the actual body is that it is the Reverend. It is confirmed that it is the Reverend. But they can't come to a conclusion. Going by what they've seen and how they've seen it, they rule it as suspicious, but it still to them seems like a suicide. Like this, he was the one who caused his own death.
So he was alive when he hit the ground,
Possibly.
or
Again,
slightly before he hit the ground.
Yeah, they
toxicology reports or anything.
Yeah, the weirdest thing about that is the only thing they could, because that slime seemed to be in his organs, like all in his body, just over all his organs, and they see the slime that you might get it off some toads, frogs. Some might see slime, and that's the only conclusion they can come to. Is it's that sort of slime, but they don't know how it's possible there. We don't get toads in Boston.
How about the book?
The book, I'll get the 3 books. I do the 3 books. They've given you a window that they could have been moved in a window of about a week.
Okay, I was actually referring to the journal.
Yeah, I just
you just want to get to that.
I just wanted to get that one out of the way, and then
that's the dramatic. Yeah.
So the journal. Again, there's a lot of these. They say there's a lot of these weird ramblings about the darkness, and it won't stop watching me, and I can't escape my heritage. There's a lot of that, and there's a few details on the town, the Freihaus Garden, and he goes in about his heritage, about how it's a village, how they used to have these meetings that his father spoke about to him, and he kind of just says that he doesn't understand what really happened there at all, but suddenly these meetings stopped, and all his life he feels like the village hasn't stopped following him. He hasn't been able to escape it, and his father would never open up about what happened there, what happened to his grandfather, his great-grandfather. He just wouldn't open up to him, and he just rambles on about this, how it's. He doesn't talk about his life as a vicar. He just rambles on about how he's confused about his own heritage, and how he feels it's following him, and he can't escape it.
Why the secrecy? Why the invisible ink? Doesn't make any sense.
There is one thing that he does mention that makes a little sense. It's not even a sentence. It's just a name, and it's Vogel.
James Vogel, the curator.
What's the last entry?
So the very last entry is dated that date. So he had done it most likely in the morning,
Okay.
from what they get from, if let's say they did a report on it that morning, and all it says is that this needs to be done. I can't let my heritage harm this peaceful town. I can't let it devour it like it did my town of origin. So he's referring to Fryhouse Garden. I must end this now. I can't let Vogel or anyone stop me. This has to end.
So it says this has to end. That could be a suicide reference, but not necessarily.
Again, it just seems like mad ramblings, to be fair. Going by it just seems like it following the same pattern, but this one seems more directly about the current situation.
Why keep it a secret unless you don't want somebody who could read it to read it?
Vogel,
and Vogel's mentioned, so James Vogel. Let's carefully question that guy.
Right. Can we send these toad slime samples off to like a herpetologist or something, get an analysis on it?
You'd definitely be able to get them sent off to a specialist.
The Grand University of Boston.
Most likely Lincoln University. Or just maybe a local. There's a wildlife center just in the in the fens, so one of them probably can look into this. There's probably someone who can look into it. So that gets sent off.
So he was ashamed of something in his past, or in the past of his village. Well, let's see if we can find. Perhaps there's now. These are missing books. These 3 German books. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We should see if there's copies available at larger libraries, British Library, or
just like a timing question. The Reverend came here and started working at this cathedral how long ago?
Well, his father did.
Yeah, his father started working here basically when they moved. Not when they moved here, but a few years after they moved here. There were a couple of reverends in between, but then he took over. He's been there for 10 years.
So does the legend of the Gray Lady or Gray Ghost predate that, or did that start at that time?
It predates that, but you know that this Hartmann's not the only German family to be here. So
all right, I just wanted to.
The church was built in 13 something, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, the church is over 700 years old, so yeah, it's been around a long time. So, and even before that, it was a small abbey. So,
curious to know more about this Gray Lady. Usually, these ghost stories have a name, like the name of a person. This woman, she did this, that, or the other, and this is what happened to her. So,
a lot of times
there's
they're
more
just
details.
Generalized stories that are sort of propagated around, you know, the Maid in the Mist and all of these things. Who knows? But you actually saw something.
Yeah,
something literally manifested in front of you.
But you also heard a voice saying you saying something along the lines of, I didn't do it. Was that voice a female voice?
Yes, and in fact, I had a horrible, horrible dream last night. That
I did too.
I woke up with her
God,
screaming in
I didn't get any sleep. I was woken up in the middle of the night by someone screaming that too. I didn't do it.
Oh, you also had the same.
How very strange.
They're identical. Like your dreams, identical.
So was the voice saying I didn't do it also a woman's?
Yes, and I tried to help him, is what she said.
Him? See, I mean, this is far-fetched, but this sounds like we've got the Reverend with actual interaction with the Gray Lady. I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous, but I'm just trying to piece together what we're seeing and hearing here.
Okay, so as this conversation is going, can Gaston and Taylor, because I forgot to, can you do sanity rolls for me? Just to backpedal a little bit.
Pass easily.
Fail.
Okay. If you passed a D4, a fail, a D4 plus 1.
4.
Ouch.
I'm deeply disturbed.
Apparently, it's a good idea to touch the ghosts. Protects you from them.
What is our next step?
We have
A
to
lot
go
of
to the
leads.
vicarage and talk to see if he was depressed. See if they
Which I
suspect
found out if James Vogel has the 3 missing volumes.
Yeah, you have that vicarage where the curate lives, which is James Vogel. The curate is like a new vicar, like a new reverend who's come here for a couple of years before moving on
like
to
the
next.
assistant, and he assists until he takes over.
Yeah,
He does all the
usually
wanted to take over sooner.
Usually, curates move a few churches before settling and becoming. Like,
well, is it likely that with the death of the father that the curate will take over?
Either him or the associate vicar Heather Brewster.
There could be motive there. We'll have to.
Where is Heather Brewster in church property as well?
She is, but she lives in a vicarage by one of the parish's churches, St. Thomas's.
Okay.
She oversees that church, but she does come to here sometimes. But you also have Hartman's house, which is on Church Street. That is another vicarage, but that's about a 10-minute walk away from
We have to see his place too to see if there's any evidence there.
Will anybody have informed Curate Vogel of the incident?
That's what we're going to do this morning.
But he was so close. He was. I mean, he didn't at some point notice the police lights outside, or
11:30 at night. He might not have.
1:30 at night.
1:30 at night.
Depending on if he goes into the church in the mornings.
Yeah, he there. He's probably heard. He's definitely heard it. You would like to think he has heard of it
by now.
Sure. Yeah.
Rather shocking.
Probably not our job to break the news, because it's just going to have happened because of proximity.
They should expect us to show up this morning.
Yeah.
Oh.
As locals, do any of us know anything about Curate Vogel?
You know that his family moved to Lincoln. You don't know how long ago, but it definitely predates his father and grandfather.
But they're also German extraction.
Yes. Mm-hmm. They are German as well. And yeah, so that's all you really know. He's not as friendly as Hartman. He's a bit more sour.
A year or two at most.
Yeah, a year or two. He's quite young. He's about 28, 29. He's a bit sour. His sermons are known to be boring.
I'm sorry, did you say that is he also an immigrant from Germany?
His family are. You're unsure. You're unsure if how far back it was when they moved.
Because he's mentioned in the journal, maybe there was some family rivalry that we find out about.
But yeah, that's just basic knowledge of, because if you go to church, you get to know the vicar, you get to know the priest.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, so what are you for doing? Where's your first plan of action for the day?
Detectives, do you think we should all go to talk with the curate, or would you like to send us somewhere else?
Well, I think at this point we're worrying about this possibly being a homicide case. If it's a suicide case, then what can you do? But if it's a homicide, I'd kind of like D.I. Taylor to have some armed people there.
I agree with that. Yes.
I mean, we don't know this. Vogel's mentioned in the secret diary.
Yeah. If you two want firearms, you can get it. You could also get temporary authorization for Uxbridge and Brearley, but it's temporary.
Right.
I think we should do that.
I think I'll get that Glock 17 that's on my list here.
Yeah, yeah, that's the pistol of the police.
I would also note that I don't have firearms training personally.
Just to point out, there are two other names who are notable for the church. Ali Kogan, who is the secretary.
Is that a man or a woman?
A woman. And then Dan Cuthbert is the caretaker.
Cuthbert.
Very good name.
A very English name as well.
Yes.
So yeah, they're just other people who are of note.
Is Alec Hogan the person who would use the office in the church that with the boring computer and regular files?
Ali would, but she would mainly be in the offices that are connected to the smaller vicarage.
Right.
But yeah.
D.I. Taylor, what do you think we should do first?
I would really like to check out Reverend Harmon's vicarage, his personal effects. You suspect foul play, perhaps something will point to that at his home.
Or at least it'll.
Vogel's also in.
Right.
Very
if it points to severe depression,
right,
then we can assume suicide.
Which is this darkness that he keeps talking about makes me think it might be depression, mental illness, something like that. But
the journal is described seems like it's not as much depression as some kind of disorder or paranoia even.
Look for drugs, prescribed or otherwise, that he might have been taking, to antipsychotics, anything like that. Okay. So his place first.
Yeah.
So are all four of you going to his place?
Yeah, I think we want backup.
I think so.
Okay. And you have got your Glocks, and have you authorized them to have one if they wanted? Or
yes.
Well, Brearley doesn't know how to shoot a gun.
Yeah.
He's fairly new, so
right.
Uxbridge, do you have skills with a firearm?
I've been trained with the taser and the baton, but no firearms.
Perhaps not then.
All right, so we have the firearms.
Yeah, you probably have shot it. You probably have shot a gun a couple of times, Uxbridge, but out of firing range.
I know how to shoot up a paper target at 20 yards, but that's it.
Okay, so yeah, you all head to the vicarage, and your Gaster and Taylor, you would have like a non-police car. It'd be a more civilian-looking car. Uxbridge and Brearley, you have your bright yellow striped police car.
Yeah, we'll stay a little bit back. I mean, we don't want to freak them out, but
we're going to the pastors or the reverends.
Yeah. Place. So again, to get to his, you basically go the same way that you guys went. Gaspar and Taylor, you drove yesterday, so you go across the Sluice Bridge, which is a giant bridge, and not a giant bridge, but you go down, and instead of going straight on to where you went last time, you turn left and then left again, and you are on Church Street. And you see there's normal buildings, and then there's like a gated property, and there's like a big-ish vicarage there.
And will he have some kind of staff, or is that the secretary alley, or does he have a housekeeper, or?
No, they usually they're just given the house as part of the job, and it's up to them to do with it as they wish.
All right. Well,
I'm assuming that we have access to get in there. We don't have to, break in.
If he had his keys in his pocket, the forensics probably would have gotten them, and we'd have them.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely. His keys would have been there. His wallet he would have had. So yeah, you can easily get in there. As you open, you actually hear little scuff marks on the door. And then you hear a little,
Probably a dog.
Yeah.
little
Probably
lot. There's 4 yaps, and they're quite high-pitched yaps, smallish dogs. What you gather?
Mm.
Not pugs. They would be snorts then.
Gotta
He's
find
not
a home
worried
for
about-
these fellas.
So, as you-
ankle biters.
Who's opening the door?
I'll open the door.
Okay.
And Uxbridge, rarely, if you could maybe catch anything that runs out. We don't want them going into the
All right.
street.
Yes, man.
So as you open the door, there are 2 long-haired Dachshunds and 2 short-haired Dachshunds. Or smooth Dachshunds.
They don't go running out the door, do they?
No, they're
Okay.
very excited to see humans.
All right, let's pat the dogs. Let's all go in.
I'll try the kitchen for the dog food. These guys are
Yeah.
going to be famished.
Yeah, there's dog food there. You can feed the dogs.
The personal office space for the.
Yeah, he
Master.
he does have a person. It's quite a big personal office. The house, even though it's quite big, there's a lot of the rooms are quite massive. So the living room's quite big and takes up a lot of the first floor.
I'll grab his mail and I'll start looking through it. Bill. I'll toss those to the side.
It's basically just Bill, and then a letter from Dr. Paul Young.
Paul Young.
Paul Young.
Dr.
yes.
Paul Young. Yes, I will hand that to D.I. Taylor. This one looks important.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's from Paul Young. It's kind of got like a little from the office of Paul Young kind of thing.
Mhm.
But there's no like. Usually, if it's in England, if it's an official doctor's thing, it will have NHS in the corner, but
Okay.
it doesn't.
Okay.
So a different kind of doctor, not a medical doctor.
Yes.
Well,
Potentially, yes.
Or private
he could-
correspondence from a doctor.
yeah,
Not official.
It could be unofficial. It could be anything like that.
So I'm continuing to go through the papers and handing anything important to D.I. Taylor.
Yeah, so you've got that. You've also got a letter from a letter addressed to him. It's in like it's actually in calligraphy. Maybe you might be able to tell it's a bit more feminine writing, but yeah, but they're the only 2 that seem of. The rest are all like either bills or vets to do with the vets and stuff like that.
So I'll
Let's,
continue searching the desk as she looks at that stuff.
Yeah, look at the letters.
Okay, so Taylor, I'll come to you. I'll come to him in a sec. Taylor and Gaston, I'll come to you in a minute. Really, you're looking after the dogs? Is that what you're?
Once I get them settled, I was going to suggest to the detectives that we just like do a sweep of the house from cellar to attic, looking for anything
I
that
like that
sticks
plan.
out.
Any people chained up in the basement? I don't know if
Yeah,
there's a basement.
Human
So
bones.
there is a basement. You guys would have easily been able to get like the floor plan of these vicarages because they're basically passed on to the next vicar. So,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. If you two would be so kind as to sweep.
Okay, so Uxbridge and Briley, how are you? So you've got the basement, a ground floor, a first floor, and then a small attic.
I'll start ground floor and just initially do a peripheral check of any entry points to make sure nothing seems to have entered.
Okay. Briley, what are you?
I mean, I don't think that really requires two people. We've got detectives there already. Maybe I'll start with the cellar, see if there's an exit from there, look, in the coal bin or whatever kind of storage there is, and work upwards.
Okay.
Nobody's going to sneak out, when you're moving up, it's hard for somebody to sneak out if there was although I'm sure that dachshunds would have grounded anybody.
Oh yeah.
Food.
Yeah. You'd have thought there would have been maybe some complaints or something if they were barking at someone, or they might not be. Yeah, but I think people would be alerted if there was an intruder for 4 dachshunds. So Uxbridge, you're scanning the ground floor. Briley, you're going downstairs. Gastrel, you're just looking through the office. Yes, you're looking through his.
Yes,
Personal.
I'm going through his chores and everything.
Okay, so Taylor, you read notes. So from Dr. Paul Young, again, these are very brief, just to get to the meat of what he's saying. They seem to be corresponding about possible mental illness regarding his aunt. And but
his is in the Reverend or Paul?
The Reverend's aunt. And then that seems like the more formal bit, but as you seems like it's because it's folded over into like 3. So if someone was to open it, that's the formal bit they would see, and then it would say from. But even and then there's 2, and then you unscrew it, and now it goes into a few spicier details. Like he seems to be demanding that he give him the books. He wants the books.
Dr. Young is demanding the Reverend give him the books.
Yes, and you're not sure what books, but you know that there are 3 books that have gone missing.
Right.
So he has demanded that the books, and that he brings dishonor to the tribe.
Interesting.
And from the other one, it is signed from a Samantha Gray, and it seems like a very romantic correspondence, a more sensual correspondence. There's nothing of interest. You do see her address, and her address is 32 Fentside Road, which is in the rougher part of town.
Interesting.
And that just seems so 2 completely different letters in contrast. One's more sensual, one's more aggressive. But yeah, that is what you get from them. So, Gastro, you are searching and searching and searching, and you find a few you find names, like you find that he's got like Vogel's file, like a file on Vogel, kind of date of birth, stuff like that. Like it seems more business related.
But I'll pull that out.
Yeah. And on the back of that one, because this seems like his more like the personal files that he'll keep just for his reference. On the back it says "bastards" on the back. of that one.
Well, this reverend's not much of a reverend if he's using this kind of foul language.
Yeah, it's very unprofessional of a.
Well,
of a
does he
reverend.
mean? I'll skim through it to see if there's some reference to lineage and perhaps somebody
Well,
is a
seeing
bastard.
seeing his lineage, you'll also find a file on himself, and you will see that they come from the same. Their lineage dates back to the same town, the same village. But going by this, you will then find a few more documents that he has been gathering on Vogel, and it appears that his family have been here for about 400 years.
Vogels.
Yeah, the Vogels have been, and they originally were called Vogelbaum.
Vogelbaum.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just make sure there's no else. Did you? You then find information on the Grey Lady. He has. This is on his computer though, because I assume you check if you're checking everything, and it's unlocked. And it's unlocked. Like he can lock his door and he can like bolt his windows, so it's pretty secure. So on the computer, he's got a file on the Grey Lady, and it seems like she was a widow, but she moved here from Germany with her husband who died while she was pregnant. She gave birth and then committed suicide off of the top of the church. The rumors say, from what he can pick up, and it seems to from his notes seems to correspond with a noted death of a lady called Sarah Gray.
Samantha Gray's ancestor.
And then it goes into a bit more of the superstitious, that if you run around the church, or walk around the church 3 times just before it chimes at midnight, you will summon her. That is as the myth goes, to scare kids. It's like but yeah, that's kind of, it just seems to go into that kind of stuff, and then a lot more professional, reverent stuff.
P.S. Uxbridge, did you by chance walk around the church a few times that last night?
Well, we did. I'm not sure if it was 3 times or no. Did I hear that part? No, I wouldn't have known. Yeah, we did walk around it a little bit.
We're sharing all this information.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
because you're still out in the car. You're still out scanning the area. So,
yeah, well, I'm doing a peripheral check for
you'd be able to
entering.
You'd be able to speak to him. It's not like,
don't walk around the vicarage 3 times. Who knows who will summon?
So just as Oxford, you're doing a scan of that. You just see the dogs are eating, thanks to Brearley.
Yeah.
And you've got his the living room, which takes up most of the ground floor. There's some paintings of. There's actually a painting of the stump that he seems to have got done, and a family portrait that's like a oil painting of his family. And that's really all in the living room. And you've got the kitchen and his office, and then there's like a bathroom, and the kitchen's quite massive, and there's a dining room. That's kind of all that's on the first floor. You don't see anything out of place, and the only place that you would maybe think to look is where Gastrel and Taylor are currently.
So there's no. My initial look was just to see if there's any breaking or entering.
Yeah, there's nothing unusual.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just come back to DS Gastrel's location. Yeah, no. We did go around the cathedral that night. don't recall 3 times, but we did do it at least once, maybe twice.
Oh. We're looking for anything in here that might indicate that he was up to something nefarious, but so far in his correspondence here, it's something a little weirder.
Weirder.
Some sort of a occult connection, family connection back in Germany.
So who might still be alive involved in this?
You're muted, D.I. Taylor.
He received a letter from a Dr. Young basically demanding the books. That's the only detail, but I'm thinking the books that have gone missing, and then accuses the Reverend of bringing dishonor to the tribe. And there's also some discussion about a family member with mental illness, and perhaps the Reverend himself also suffered from the same afflictions. And then he also has a rather romantic letter from a Samantha Gray.
It's probably related to the woman who jumped off the building.
Definitely 2 people worth looking into. Samantha Gray lives here. I don't know about Dr. Young.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Yeah, to be fair, a quick search. You have the databases that you can check. It'll be on your phone. You have a specific app that accesses a database anyway, so you'll be able to easily search. But Dr. Young is an A&E doctor who works at the Pilgrim Hospital.
Oh, that's not far away.
So that's like just a quick search that you could do. So, and then as you guys are discussing and you've got a bit of information, really, you are walking down into the basement. It's not dark, but it's got a very eerie feeling to it. But there's a light switch where you can just switch on and it brightens the place up.
Yeah. Still no harm in having a light torch for dark corners and translucent women.
So you go down there, and yeah, there's storage down here. There's even, and then there's like a nicer area in the corner where there's like a sofa and a TV, and he's got that set up, and it's like a little hideaway den almost, like just somewhere where you'd come and chill.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's just clutter in the corners, and there's a bookshelf in here as well.
Worth looking at, especially since they're missing volumes. I imagine a place where people live temporarily in sequence, like you get old wicker furniture covered with dust and things in cellar corners.
Yeah.
And not a lot of personal effects or change because it's temporary residence for most people. But this seems lived in, so how are the bookshelves?
Yeah, the bookshelves are they're like old wood now, so they haven't really changed them. They do look like homemade bookshelves. Like he's done them. Plus, he's lived here for like 10. Because he's been a reverend for 10 years here, you can assume he's lived in this house for 10 years.
Right.
So the bookshelf it's quite full, but it does look like there's a few empty spaces. You got a lot of like Shakespeare and stuff like that on there. Edgar Allan Poe, Lovecraft, stuff like that.
And the gaps, I mean, do they correspond to the gaps of the volumes that were replaced?
Possibly, like there's a gap, there's a massive gap, maybe 3-4 books could fit in there, 2 large books. You're unsure.
But it's tall enough to be these volumes, which were probably not small.
Yeah.
It's not a paperback shelf. It's not, okay.
Do me a spot hidden.
No. 51, is that good? I think it is. He's pretty spotty. Yep, that's a normal.
Okay, so it's just at the bottom of this bookcase. There seems to be a strange, like, slimy substance.
Oh, well,
similar
okay.
to that of what you saw.
And it's like spattered onto the bottom of the bookshelf, or it's oozing
yes,
out?
Spattered at the bottom, and it's kind of, it looks like it's not oozing out anymore, but it has drizzled out.
Okay, I've got a first aid kit. I'm gonna scrape some of that into something that I can seal without touching it.
Yep.
So we can compare it to the other.
Yeah, you'll have stuff in, like, because you'll have a utility belt and you'll have basic stuff.
And so it does seem like it came out from under it, or seems like it was splashed onto it. Is it like a little, or
yes, it is like a but then it's got like a little drizzle, so you're kind of unsure if it's come from under or splashed. You're unsure.
Is it maybe a very slow translucent slug that left a trail and also is still moving but imperceptibly? I guess I'm going to check the couch out.
Yeah.
In between cushions.
Yeah, the couch looks like he's been here, like sat in this quite a lot. It looks imprinted in. He's definitely sits in the middle of the couch.
Is the TV remote handy?
Yeah, there's a TV remote, yeah.
What channel is it on?
As you turn it on, it will just be it's on, but it's black.
Wait, so the TV was already on?
No, you've turned it on.
Turn it on,
you've seen like
the
little icon, and even if you flick through all the channels, it's still black.
That's broken. Why does he sit here and watch that? I'm gonna just go to the back of the TV and see like if what's disconnected. Like, is there a cable line that's just hanging loose, or
no? All the cables are in. All the cables are there. Everything's connected properly. Mm-hmm. You can even turn it off and on again, and it's still got that darkness.
Darkness, right?
Do me a power roll.
Oops. Where did I put them? 65. Yeah, that's not a success.
Okay. So you find yourself really, because you are confused. You don't know. You've tried everything you know, and you're now looking at it. And the darkness seems to be moving almost. And you seem to be finding yourself further into the darkness. And then briefly you look behind and there's a screen behind you. And the other three, do me a listen roll.
Pass, hard pass.
Extreme success.
Extreme fail.
You all hear a scream from downstairs, a male scream.
What the hell? I pull my gun and run downstairs.
Let's go see what that's about.
And I'll chase them to see what they're chasing.
So I'll just go back to Braley briefly as you're coming down. So Braley, you're now there and touching, and you're kind of in the TV, and you feel something touch your shoulder, and it's like a black hand, a charcoal hand is touching you. And it starts to pull you like it's trying to beckon you towards it.
Can I see the room outside?
Yeah, you can see the room. You can see yourself.
I
You
can
are there. You are standing there. In the room, you are staring at yourself.
Is there a lip to the screen that I can try to grab?
Yeah, you can.
I'm
And
gonna try to lurch forward and grab the edge of the space.
do me a strength roll.
Stronger than I am powerful. Oh, 14. That's hard, not an extreme.
Yeah, you are pulling yourself out. You are pulling yourself out. You are pulling yourself out. And Gastrel Uxbridge Taylor, you are coming downstairs. You see Brearley is there. He's standing still, very still, extremely still.
Oh, Brearley, I heard you scream. What's the matter? Or no, actually, I didn't hear him scream.
Really?
Really, what's wrong?
Extremely still.
What's wrong with you, man? And I put my hand on his shoulder and shake him.
Okay, you can now see the screen, and it seems like there's like a head imprint pushing out the screen. You know, like from Nightmare on Elm Street, where Freddy, it's like that. It's like he's trying to push himself.
All right. I'm leaping backwards.
Yeah. That's perfectly understood. Taylor and Uxbridge, you'll probably see this as well. Now that he's leapt backwards.
Do I see? Does it look like Brearley coming out, or does it just look like this thing?
It's like the darkness is like coming out human shaped almost like.
Oh my God! What's that?
I'm gonna push it over.
You're gonna push it.
I'm gonna push the tail. Get that away.
Okay, yeah, but the TV falls. Are you pulling it forward so it's not showing?
So it's down. Yeah.
And I'm gonna go yank the power cable out from the TV. This is way too creepy. Pulling that power out.
Really, you are now in darkness, and they have basically stopped you from being able to pull yourself through at the moment. And now, because it's even dark, you are feeling two hands grab you and are pulling you.
Really,
snap out of it! Snap out of it, man!
As you kind of find yourself turning, and you just see this giant eye open at you, and you, in shock, kind of gasp, and your body to them gasps and lets out a weird scream, and then you are back in your body.
Really.
And that is where we will leave this episode.
Oh.
Our players included Holly Buteau, David Gasaway, Stuart Lively, and myself, with Josh Harwood as the keeper of the secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. There's a link below. We're currently producing up to 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. We have a new patron, Evan Dorkin, has pledged $3 a month. Thank you very much, Evan. If you'd also like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 to a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck, good game.